Ashley's Reads on Twitter, of Fiction and Fantasy on Instagram, and also of Fiction and Fantasy on TikTok. Today I am here to bring you my March TBR. I am getting incredibly confused with the seasons because it is currently March and I am only one book into March. I am about to start book 2 tomorrow though, so that's good. And then I just watched the April announcement for Aurelia, so my brain is already thinking about April and I'm just really confused. We're gonna do the best we can. Okay, so this is a pretty short TBR. I have like 4 books that I'm going to read, and then I have some hopefuls. I am really busy still, and I imagine that it will get worse throughout the year because I will be moving this year. I just found out the month that I am probably moving in, and I'm not telling anyone where or when yet, so you'll know when I get there. But I'm really excited, and it's gonna be super chaotic coming up in the next few months or so. So I don't know that my filming will increase any more than it has, so I'm going to try and just make it a more like conjoined conglomerate video until I can split these up. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm currently reading and try and put some focus on my review copies because I have like 30 review copies to work on, and I am going to try and tell you guys about them and read them like before they come out instead of a year later. So we have a long way to go. So I'm going to tell you guys what I'm reading really quickly, a couple of words about the non-arcs, and then maybe like a little bit more about the arcs, and then we'll get into the books that I want to read for March. So I'm currently reading 5 books, so I'll go over those really fast. The first one that I am reading is Jade City by Fonda Lee, and this is what I am assuming will be the best book of February. This has been a rough month. Most of my reads have been 2 to 3 stars, and this is the only one that's hooked me a lot so far. And yeah, I really like the like opposing sides. I know that's not really a trope, is it? I really like when there's like opposing sides as an element in the book, so this one hooked me. The next one that I'm reading is Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. I am really struggling with like the omniscient point of view. Oh yeah, so I'm 50% into Jade City and like 30% into Muse of Nightmares. So this one I'm reading A Forgery of Roses by Jessica S. Olson. I think I'm about 30% into it, maybe a little before 30%, and I'm liking it. It reminds me kind of Trisha Levenseller. I'm not sure where it's going, and for a young adult book, that is really surprising for me, so I do like that. Okay, this bookmark is off because I was listening to the audiobook while I got ready. So I am 90% into So Many Beginnings by Bethany C. Morrow. I'm not really enjoying this one. I'm thinking 2 to 3 stars, and this, please keep in mind, I didn't really enjoy Little Women, and this is a Little Women retelling. Oh yeah, these are arcs, so these are books that I have review copies of on NetGalley, so I'm trying my best. This one I'm thinking I will give about 2 to 3 stars. I gave Little Women about 3 stars when I read it many years ago. So I don't know what I was expecting with this one. I thought I would maybe like it better than Little Women, but it just feels, and these could be things that are from the original, it jumps all over the place. And again, omniscient narrative, I'm not loving that. And I just feel like it feels kind of like, instead of a retelling, it's almost like setting the scene up of what it would be like in the setting. This is in a, oh my goodness. This is written in the setting of the Roanoke colony. I believe they called it the Roanoke Freed People Colony during the Civil War era. And so it feels like the scenes are setting up, hey, like if I wrote Little Women, this is how the scene would go in this setting instead. And it feels to me a lot like I wouldn't understand what was going on if I hadn't read Little Women, and it just feels more like setting up the scene than actually telling a book, if that makes sense. I think that's something that I struggled with in her other series as well. So I'm sad because I was really excited to read this. But please, again, keep that all with a grain of salt, as I am not a huge classics person, so it makes sense that I didn't love the retelling of it. But I have finished Little Thieves 2 years ago, and this was a 5-star read, one of my favorites of all time. And I am now reading the advanced review copy of Painted Devils, the sequel. By Margaret Owen. I'm so excited. Thank you so much to Macmillan for a review copy. I got a review copy of this one, but obviously the series has really blown up, and so I was really nervous that I wouldn't get a copy of the sequel, and I'm so excited. I'm only on like chapter 2 or something like that, whatever is past the exclusive sneak peek that we got earlier this year. That's all I've read. But I love it. It's so witchy, and the characters, I'm obsessed with them, and it feels like coming home to old friends, so I'm really excited. Thank you. Okay, that's my current reads. So let's go over the books that I want to read for the rest of March. Painted Devils is on there. So I wasn't expecting to get Painted Devils. I just got that yesterday or the day before, so I had to fix my TBR a little bit, but thankfully I could remove a book and swap one out, and it had the exact same 3 prompts as the book I swapped out, so we're doing okay. So I am doing the Roll of the Reeds-a-thon, and that is how I got my rolls. You just roll a d8 or a d10. I think you roll a d10 to find out how many you get. And I only got 4 rolls, so that went really quickly, and then I added a few things on for Aurelium catch-up for my second character in the Aurelium Magical Read-a-thon. So let's see. The first prompt is half elf, or to read a book that is young adult or middle grade. And I've also combined this book with Pet Shop, which is a side quest for Aurelium for reading a fantasy book. So a young adult or middle grade fantasy book. For this one, I picked a book that I ordered because it was not at the library in time, and I haven't opened it yet. So let's do that. I really hope this is undamaged because I forgot to open this for a few weeks, so it's probably too late to return it. But I got 2 books, and I'm only reading one of them this month. Sadly. Okay, this is not on my TBR, but I got Babel by R.F. Kuang. If you guys have followed this for a while, if you guys follow my Instagram, you know that and my TikTok, I really love the Poppy Word trilogy, specifically book 2. That was my favorite, 5 stars, and the other were both 4 stars. So I am really excited to read another book by R.F. Kuang. I think this is a standalone, but I'm not 100% sure. And then this is the one that I want to read this month, Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I did not mean for this to match my dress, but it does. Okay, so this one is the book club pick for Mariana's and I's book club, the unfinished book club. Oh, this is gorgeous. Oh wow, hold on, I'm showing it to you upside down. That's so beautiful. Oh, I love that. So for the unfinished book club, this is our March and April book club pick, as it's over whatever our page count is, like 450 pages. So we get 2 months to read it. But I have loved Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson so much, and An Enchantment of Ravens was good. That was her debut though, so it makes sense. So this is her sophomore book, and I'm really excited to read this, and I'm thinking it'll be based off the 3-star for her debut and 5-star for her most recent one. I'm thinking this will be a 4-star, but we'll see. Okay, Mariana does this thing, or at least did at one point, where she did predictions for what she thought she would rate a book. I think that is so funny, so I might do that this month too, because I love that. So yeah, I think that'll be a 4-star read. And then the next one, the prompt is Elf, to read a fantasy or sci-fi, and the prompt, Fight a Giant, to read a book that is over 500 pages. So for this one, I will be reading Painted Devils, which again, I don't have it yet as it's not out, but I'll show you the cover here. It's gorgeous. This one, it's like 512 pages or something like that, and it is definitely a fantasy. I think it's based, I want to say, on German mythology. It's the, not the Princess and the Pea, it's based on that fairy tale, the Goose Girl fairy tale. It is a retelling of that. Oh my gosh, I was like, The Princess and the Pea, The Swan Princess. No, that's all wrong. So it's based on that. I am predicting that I will give it 5 stars, and I hope that I'm right. But it's already, just from chapter 1, I was laughing so hard, so I think it'll be 5 stars. And prompt 3 is Fight a Wizard. This is to read a book that is rated over 4.3 stars on Goodreads. For this one, I will be reading The Martian by Andy Weir. I don't love movie tie-in covers. It feels really weird having this face staring the camera at you. I'm sorry. But I will be reading this one. It is part of my 12 and 12 challenge. I cannot remember for which friend, but this is my 4th, I think, book for the 12 and 12 challenge. I think, yeah, that sounds right. So I am staying on track. I'm 1 book ahead, and it doesn't seem super thick in this like mass market paperback style. Yes, so I will put which friend recommended it here, and yeah, hopefully. I am expecting this to be like a 3-star read. I watched the movie, it was okay, so. Okay, the next book, this is my final prompt, is Dwarf, and that is to read a book that is either historical, literary fiction, or classic or nonfiction. For this one, I will be reading Night of the Raven, Dawn of the Dove by Rati Mehrotra, and this one is a review copy that I received from Wednesday Books, and it came out in October of 2022. So Amazon's description said it is a young adult fantasy set in medieval India, and it's listed as a historical fiction on Goodreads, so I'm counting that. I meant to read it last month and I did not get to it at all, so yes. As you can tell, I know nothing about books going into them, so I'm winging it completely. Then the next prompt, or prompt 5, is clairsentience, or to read a book set in the future, and to read a book that Noah picked. So for this one, I have, oh my gosh, where is it? Noah is my brother. He's supposed to pick this book for me as we do all of our readathons together, and the prompt was to let someone pick your book. So I will be reading Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I know nothing about this at all, but it's also a part of my challenge to read one of Becca from Becca and the Book's favorite books of 2021, I think. So I'm very behind on that. I haven't seen her favorite books of this year, or of last year, but I heard she didn't have many, so it'll be a shorter challenge this year. Oh, and if I were to predict how I would rate that one, I'm gonna say 4 stars because I know nothing about it, but I've heard that it's pretty good. It seems to have kind of like a cult following. So that was it for the prompts. So I threw in 6 books that I would like to read if I get time, and I am not super worried if I don't get to them. But I would like to read Like Wildfire by Jennifer Lynn Alvarez. This book is my oldest ARC, and so I did receive it from a publisher whose name I will put here. Yes. Okay, I would like to read Bound by Firelight, which is by Dana Swift. That is the sequel to Cast in Firelight. I received an ARC of that quite a while ago, and I never got around to reading it. I am not super interested anymore in reading it, but I am a completionist, so I kind of just want to finish the series and be done with it. I think I gave that one, okay, Lies Like Wildfire, I'm thinking I'll give like 3 stars, and I think I will probably also give Bound by Firelight 3 stars, because I think I gave the first one 3.5 stars. I would like to read When You Were Everything by Ashley Woodfolk, I believe. Yes. And this one is a pick from the Shelf This Book Club from a very, very long time ago. And I keep trying to continue on, and I never managed to get to this book. So I don't really know anything about it, except that I think it's a contemporary book, and it may be set in high school. If that's true, I'm leaning a little towards like 2.5 stars. I don't generally love books that are contemporary and set in high school, so that is my guess. I have no idea what any of my friends rated it, so we'll see. Then I would like to read Broken Throne by Victoria Aveyard. This is the final like novella set, the final book in the series of The Red Queen. And I thought that book series was mostly 3 stars on average, and again, I don't really have any interest in picking this up, so I'm hoping I read some of it, maybe I DNF it, and it's gone. So I guess my prediction is I DNF it, and if I do finish it, I'll maybe give it 2.5 stars. But I am excited to finish this series. I want to try a new series by her, like Realmbreaker, and see if I like that more. I just thought Red Queen was kind of like trying too hard to be the Hunger Games, and it was really heavy, not as in like depressing-ish, yes, but heavy as in there was just a lot of content to the book that felt like it dragged on for no reason. So we'll see how that goes. But it is book 3.5, and I'm doing the Squash That Series readathon on the last week of March, and so I would get 3.5 points for reading it, and that's like the farthest I am along in a non-comic book series. So yeah, I might try it then. Okay. The 10th prompt is The Inadequate Heir by Danielle L. Jensen. I had just started this book. I read the dedication. I looked at the beautiful map. It's book 3 in the Bridge Kingdom series, and I immediately got the ARC approval for Painted Devils, so I put it down. So now I don't know if I'll get to it this month. I'm sorry if my makeup looks a little wild because I left my makeup bag in the car. And so I didn't have it while I was getting ready, and because Michael had the car at work, and so I had to use like either old or brand new makeup I haven't tried yet. And so it's not what I usually look like my foundation or anything. So I keep looking at my reflection like, whoa. Okay. Final book is Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. This is maybe one of my most anticipated sequels. I really liked It Happened One Summer. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. And even though I liked People We Meet on Vacation probably as my favorite contemporary romance of last year, I really liked The Sister and The Friend in the first book. And when it ended, I told Michael like this book was really good, but it would have been even better if we'd gotten a sequel or like a spinoff or something about the sister. And then I found out this book existed, so I put it on my Christmas list, and one of my Secret Santas, I ended up getting me this, so I am super hyped. So thank you to Erica for getting me this. I can't wait to read it, and I hope I can finally get to it this month, but like, what are the odds that I do? Like, this is book 11, so I don't always read them in order, but I don't see myself getting to it, and that's a huge bummer, so we'll see. But that is all of my books that I'm currently reading, and all of the books that I want to read this month. It is already March 9th, so I will probably edit this next Tuesday, ideally. Thank you for bearing with me today. My energy is really low this week, so this was a little bit of a struggle because I'm just thinking about how excited I am to make air fried stuffed artichokes for the first time. That is where my brain is at right now. But I hope that you guys have a lovely rest of March. I think that daylight savings time is happening this weekend, so I am wishing you all luck as I am in Arizona, and I will now have to tell everyone that I am in basically Pacific time instead until we move. So because it's really hard to tell people I live in Mountain Time but an hour behind, so I just say I live in Pacific time during daylight saving time because Arizona doesn't follow it, which I love, but it's weird because I think we're the only state who doesn't yet because Congress won't pass anything to get rid of daylight saving time. So I'll probably edit that out. But yes, and then I hope that if I do not get to film anything until April, that you guys have a positively lovely start to spring. I am so excited, and I would love to maybe do a video sometime showing you all of my plants that I have acquired over the winter. I hope you have a lovely March.